Welcome to the Dr. Stacy Show, where we are talking all about things faith, love, and wellness. I'm your host, Dr. Stacy, and I'm excited to kick off my inaugural season. Each season, I'll be tackling a theme, and this season, we're going to be tackling healing Black men and lifting Black boys. I'll be taking the time to speak to incredibly talented and amazing Black men in their fields and profession to gain insight into key areas of wellness for how we can support with faith, love, and wellness our Black men and boys. Today, I am honored to have with me Kirk Charles. Kirk Charles is on a mission to get America in tip top shape. He has been an NASM certified personal trainer since 2010. He's successfully conducted more than 13,000 group and personal training sessions and has over 30 years of plant based eating as the key to his success. Kirk has created Fit Beyond 40, an online coaching platform. He's written 2 books, The First Aisle, How to Eat for Maximum Health and Live in the Power Zone. He's also been a weekly columnist for Men's Health, has authored more than 100 articles on exercise and fitness for mature men. And he's also been a freelance writer for ARP, Black Enterprise, and Black Men magazines. You can find him in national commercials, print advertisements for Men's Health, ESPN, Merck, Coldwell, State Farm, and a list of other places. Kirk, I am so excited to have you on the show. Thank you so much for joining me.
Pleasure to be here, and thank you very much.
So, Kirk, I have to be transparent. When I first met you, we were at a Tech Titans program, and you were really intense on talking about plant-based, and I was sitting there eating a donut.
Well, Dr. Stacy, you're allowed to have a donut once a year, 1 donut per year. So there we go.
So then I'm done. Here we go. So I'm just going to jump right in because I think you have so many gems to help us from a physical wellness perspective and this idea of food. So you have this thing called the New You Game Plan. Talk to us a little bit about your philosophy on that and what do you mean by that?
Well, the New You Game Plan is all about reducing your cleaning up your mess to reduce your stress, and then you progress. So a mess can be anything that gets in the way between where you are and where you want to be. So in the case of physical fitness, a mess could be maybe a diagnosis that you don't like, or maybe you want to lose 30 or 40 pounds. Sometimes we bring these things into our own lives and we can turn it around. And if we just clean up that mess, we reduce the stress. Once you get rid of that stress and you can think clearly and you're not frazzled, then all of a sudden you start making progress. And I found out that the key to really being happy, I believe, and being motivated is to always be in a position where you're making progress. Because you start to feel great, the endorphins start flowing. And once you're motivated, I'm of the belief that I can do anything when I'm motivated. And that's what I try to instill into my clients. So it's all about creating a new you. And we do it in, nice, easy steps, assessing the mess, then reducing the stress. Again, start cleaning up everything. And all of a sudden things just start to change. And it's a new you.
I love that. And talk to us about this idea, because you've been doing plant-based for like 30 years. Tell us how you got into plant-based, how you've seen it impact your health and everything around you.
Well, I got started back in 1989 in the 80s. Okay, I'm assuming I'm a little bit older than you are.
Just a little bit.
I got started, it was like a 3-year transition into veganism at that time. So in 86, I gave up red meat, the next year chicken, the next year fish, the next year dairy, and all of a sudden I was there. It was totally unintentional. And back at that time, no one even knew what the word vegan meant. To this day, I really still don't even know what it means. I don't like labels any longer.
Right.
I just tell everybody I just eat exclusively plants and label me how you care to. But I got started not because of any physical fitness issues or any type of metabolic issues that I was aware of. I was 25 years old. Everything seemed to be great. But as I look back on it now, it was absolutely positively the best thing that I ever did was making that conversion. And I just didn't feel that it was in my best interest to eat animals from a physical performance perspective. Again, I was like 25 years old, so I was probably at the top of my physical form at that point. And I just wanted to have a winning edge. I've always been athletic. And I've always wanted to be athletic until the day I die. So I'll be working on that. I'll be like that 100-year-old guy out there jogging real slow. But I'm still jogging. Okay.
Still out there. Winning the marathon. That's right.
That's right. Bring it on. Bring it on. So I'm 62 now and I look at life in quarters. So I'm in the middle of the 3rd quarter now. So I got to get to 75, looking good, feeling good, and smelling good. So that's what it's all about right now.
Okay, I love that. So where does the quarter start? If you're in third quarter, where does third quarter start? What's
Third
the
quarter
age?
started at 50. That
Okay, so I'm almost at third quarter. There we go.
okay, see, so you're young, you're a little baby, you're a little girl. You don't know
I'm
anything
still
about
I'm,
this stuff.
I'm still in second. Okay. Well, speaking of age, though, you really hit home with this, and this what really got me when you talk about this fit beyond 40. Talk to us a little bit about why fit beyond 40, what you started to see with people, again, from 40 and up when it comes to this physical wellness piece.
Well, what happens is that when you're in your 20s, you think you're Superman. And then you hit your 30s,
Mm.
you realize you're Clark Kent. And, and when you hit 50, I mean, just 40, all types of things just start to fall off. The wheels just start coming off. Okay.
Mhm.
So when I was writing for Men's Health, I wrote a column for men who are older, beyond 40. So that's where I got the name from. And I started this platform during the pandemic because no one could leave the house any longer. So a lot of the articles I wrote for Men's Health were about using resistance bands and things that you could do at home. So I just started a training program at home. And I work mostly with older people. Why? Because I'm old. Most of the clients that you have, are normally like you to a degree. And I sort of understand the conversation and the concerns that we have. And for older folks, it's not always about being big and bulky and strong. We just want to be fit and be
Mm.
functional, be able to move around.
Mhm.
So I focus on that area because I'm getting old, and really all the training that I do for other people, it's really for me.
Mm.
I'm saying
That's key.
when I'm saying motivational things or things that are getting people excited, I'm trying to get myself excited and motivated. So the 40-year-old crowd, I love them, and I love the 60-year-old crowd too. But I always wish I was younger. And key as you get older,
Mhm.
find someone young to work out with because these young folks just have energy gold.
Mm.
So my focus is find someone 2/3 your age. So a lot of my friends, seriously, a lot of my friends are like early 40s, and I'm trying to hang with them physically. Now, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but I will never fail because of a lack of effort. Okay. And you're never really failing. Failing is just underground success. And I
Mm.
always think of the bamboo tree, how the story of the bamboo tree, anyway, it grows underground for like 6 years and no one sees it. So it's basically a failure
Mm.
on the outside. But
Yeah.
then bang, in that seventh year, boom, it pops up to like 100
Exactly.
feet. So all of that failure was underground success that no one could ever see. You're laying the foundation. And if you approach fitness the right way and just lay that solid foundation as you age or as you mature, you don't have to degrade as much. I mean, there's going to be some degradation. Obviously, I'm not running the way I used to run like 20, 30 years ago. I'm not doing anything like I was 20 or 30 years ago, but I can still function at a
Mm.
high level and I can still be effective and I can still have fun. And fun is what it's all about.
I love that. And I know for Black men, when we think about like physical health and wellness, even doctor's appointments start to increase in our 40s, right? When we talk about the physical
Mhm.
decline that we start to see, even from a medical perspective. Can you talk to people who are struggling? Maybe it's diabetes, high blood pressure, anything from a medical perspective. How does a plant based diet help even to reduce medical costs?
Wow. Well, let me put it like this. You can either go to the first aisle of the supermarket or you can go to the doctor. Take your pick. The bottom line
Mhm.
is that the first thing we should do when we're not feeling well is address what we're eating. And one thing that I do is I keep a food diary of everything that I eat, the time that I eat it. I jot down my blood pressure readings in there. Genetically, my weak link is blood pressure or hypertension. My blood pressure just shoots up.
Mhm.
So I have to eat plant based in order to keep the pressure down so I don't have to take drugs. Regarding other metabolic diseases, those metabolic diseases, I believe, can be cured by just eating a whole lot of plants. I mean, about 80% of our medical costs are because of metabolic problems due to what we're eating. So I think a lot of that percentage can be completely wiped out. And I live by the 7-Eleven philosophy. When you eat plants, anything is possible. Okay. And that's 7 words and 11 words. The more plants you eat, the better off you'll be. If you just adopt that philosophy, I'm telling you, type 2
Love
diabetes, you
it.
can probably wipe that out. Losing
Mhm.
weight is easy. That's just a piece of cake. Cancer feeds off of certain foods that you eat, like branched chain amino acids. I believe it feeds off of those. So a lot of the amino acids in meat and all this ideology now that we have to have more protein, that's not really in our best interest from a metabolic perspective. You might have bigger muscles and look good, but I mean, how many of us really want to play football for the New York Giants and really need all this muscle to do so? No, we just need enough muscle to be functional, to be happy and healthy. So we have to pay attention to what we eat, because physical fitness exercises reduce stress and lower injury. They help with injury prevention, and it reduces stress. But food is what's going to help when it comes to your metabolism. Got to make no mistake about that. So what I'm really excited about right now is that a lot of athletes are going plant-based. And one thing that they mention a lot is that it reduces their recovery time after an injury. And I've always thought that when football players go plant-based, then we're really going to see something. And years ago, the Tennessee Titans, that football team, a lot of the members on the team started going plant-based because one of the players on the team had a wife who was plant-based, I believe, and she cooked for a lot of the teammates. And if you look at the movie, I believe it's Game Changers. There are a lot of great movies, Game Changers, What the Health, Cowspiracy, all those. But if you look at Game Changers, I believe they are featured in that movie, and you can check it out. So football players are known to be big, bulky guys. They can go plant-based, form better. We can all do it.
And I love that reference because I was going to say Black men, I think when you say plant based, are like, no, like I'm not eating salads, right? So, what does that give us an idea when we say plant based? What might be like a day of food look like on a plant based program?
For me, I eat a lot of salads and I eat a lot of fruit. Now, something sort of special that I do is 50% of what I eat is uncooked, unprocessed, and raw vegetation in the form of salads and fruits. At least 50%. And the other 50% would be cooked vegetation. I found that that ratio helps me keep the blood pressure down. So on any normal day like this morning, was sort of an abnormal day, but around 8:30 in the morning, I had 4 plums. And around 10:30, 11 o'clock, I had 2 bananas and a peach. And I had a couple of handfuls of raw cashews. Now, it's 1:30 now. That's all I've had all day. I'll probably have a salad later today. Then I'll go out bike riding, and I may ride my bike 30 miles or so. Before I get on the bike, or as I'm riding also, I'll have a couple of bananas. And for dinner tonight, maybe some steamed or water sauteed vegetables and some quinoa. So that's a typical day for me. This day was a little atypical because normally in the morning I do eat salad for breakfast. I eat salad all the time. So,
Okay.
I'm eating all the wimpy food, okay? and a lot of times when I exercise, I do the wimpy exercises too. But those exercises are effective, okay? They're very, very effective. And men, I know that you want to bulk up and be big and strong and hot and sexy and be the protector and provider and all that good stuff. Yeah, I get it.
That's
But
okay.
give me the wimpy exercises to reduce the incidences of metabolic diseases. That's what I want.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
what I
is
want.
it? It's interesting because I mean, on dating apps, all the men are like posting in the gym, right? So all Black men are in the gym. And I love that you just said the wimpy exercises, though. Talk to us a little bit about physical exercise and what does that look like? How much should we be doing? We're over 40 to keep, again, the perspective of we're not going to be gym rats and there all day. But what does a healthy amount of exercise look like for people?
It's different for everyone, and you have to find that sweet spot. And what I will say is this: if you're new to exercise, even if you're not new to it, what I do is I set an amount of time per day that I allot to exercise, and I never skip a day. For me, it's 45 minutes per day. Now, what I want everyone out there listening to do is set a time for exercise, whether it be 5 minutes up to an hour. Set that time, don't miss that day, because 5 minutes may be a lot for some people if they're starting out. For other people, it's just way too little. So I settled on 45 because to me, an hour might be too much because I got other things going on. A half hour is too little, so 45. That's my minimum. Many days, like on a day like today, I'll go way beyond 45 minutes. So set that time, start exercising. Now, what should you do? Core development is important. Dr. Stacy, it's a gut and butt world. Gut, butt.
Remember you said that to
Yeah,
me.
you say, after a while, it's okay.
It hasn't left my memory since you said that to me that day as I'm eating my donut. You're like, no button guts. And I'm like, okay, donut down.
Yeah, button gut. I tell my clients when you're like, especially my lady clients, they like this. When you're on the beach and you're walking toward him, he sees the gut. When you're walking away, he sees the butt. Take care of
Yes.
everything. Now, once you get that foundation together, then everything else is a piece of cake. You can start working on the arms, look beautiful. But I do a
Mhm.
lot of leg lifts For the core, I do other exercises like anti-rotation exercises where you might be pushed off balance and you're trying to maintain your balance. A lot of squats. Now, another thing that you can do as far as exercising every day, every hour, here's a trick for you. Every hour, just do one exercise. So yesterday, push-ups were my exercise. Every hour at the top of the hour, I would get down and do 15, 20 push-ups. By the end of the day, I'm over 100 push-ups. Now, that's way far better than doing absolutely nothing at all because most people just sit there and do nothing. So I always have to be mindful of who I'm speaking to. I'm assuming that if we're speaking to everybody in America right now, most people just aren't doing much at all. So keep that in mind. Small, simple, easy to start out with because you want to build consistency and momentum. And once you build consistency and momentum, then you become more motivated. And again, as I said before, if you're motivated, you can do pretty much anything. Anything.
Yes, stay away from the donuts. That's my motivation right now.
Well, you know what, Dr. Stacy? I mean, you've had your own donut for the year, so yes. But
I am good, right? I'm good
but
for the year. For
however,
the year.
what I would love for you to do, let's test this out on you. Test this out on you because it's going to work for anybody. Keep the food diary. Like if it's the morning and you're putting on makeup, it's hard to put on makeup without looking in the mirror because who knows? You can just draw some weird things on your face with your lipstick, right?
Yeah.
But when you're looking in the mirror, you get a clear snapshot, and the food diary gives you that snapshot so you know exactly what you're doing. So I started doing this a couple of years ago because I was like in the clutches of a hypertensive crisis. That's when your blood pressure can reach 180 over 120 or higher. And I'm like going crazy. Now I've been vegan all these years. A lot of that vegan food is a lot of junk food. That's when I had to go more on a raw diet. And I started writing down everything. So for like 75 straight days, I ate nothing but raw food. Blood pressure came down. I was like, wow, it's a miracle. But I only know about the ins and outs of this because I keep a food diary. Once you start doing that, that's going to change your whole world because now you have a clear picture of yourself. And I think that's the bottom line. So start keeping that food diary and whatever your health goals may be, in the next 3-4 months, let's see if you achieve them and how easy it will be. Because I know it'll be easy. Because I'll call you like every day and annoy you. I mean, I
What's
will.
going on with that food diary?
I
We're
will.
staying away from the donuts.
I will, Bob. I will drive down to your house.
So I love this. Hey, listen, that I might need that motivation here. So here's what's interesting: is I like even the title of your book, "The First Aisle and How to Eat for Maximum Health." Explain to people who, again, for the first time, maybe understanding food choices. What is so important about the first aisle, even in your grocery stores?
First aisle, that's where, as soon as you walk into the grocery store, normally the way it's set up is that you walk into the produce section. And most people walk right past it. Now, a lot of people say shop on the outer aisles. No. The first aisle is normally produce. The back aisle is meat. The far aisle is dairy. We want to stay away from the meat and the dairy. I've been plant-based for 35 years since 1989. I can't go back. Now, that first aisle is where all the fresh vegetation is. The aisle where the fresh vegetation is doesn't have any labels on it. So all this label reading is a waste of time, in my opinion. Oh, it has this much sugar, it has this much fat, it has this much protein. No, just start eating some fresh vegetation. You don't need a label. Okay, you don't need a label. And the best thing for you to do would be to all that the millions of dollars that you made, Dr. Stacy, just sell all of your stuff. Take all that money and go somewhere and buy a fertile plot of land somewhere on the other side of the world. Now, you may not want to do that. You may want to be stuck here like I am in the muck and morass of New Jersey. I'm staying. I'm not going anywhere. That's the first best option. The first option. The second best option is, go somewhere go to a farm, a local farm, and buy your food and bring it back home. That's a little too much. So the book is named The First Aisle because that's what most people can easily do. Go to the first aisle of the supermarket. And one time I was speaking to a group that wasn't very affluent, not much money, and I couldn't say things like, well, go to Whole Foods or go to some high acidity, supermarket. And I went to the first aisle of the local ShopRite one time, and I took pictures of everything in the first aisle that was under $2 per pound. Then I went to the aisle where they had rice and beans, and obviously a lot of rice and beans are less than $2 a pound. I had all types of food. People say eating better is expensive.
Yeah.
That is not true. That is not true. No, you just may not be going to gourmet restaurants, but you can You can have a lot of produce, and beans, rice, and water is far healthier than a lot of processed food. A lot. About 75% of our food supply is highly processed food. 75%. Everything from the grocery store to the gas station.
Hmm.
We got to be careful. We got to start eating more fresh produce.
I love that you hinted to the fact that we can do produce at reduced prices, because I always hear that when people say it's too expensive to eat healthy. I go to the produce outlets and I can get a whole cart full for 25 bucks of produce that lasts me for 2 weeks. So I'm just thinking, like,
Yeah,
no, it's actually not expensive. Right. You just need to know where to shop. And right, it may not be the larger chains that are more expensive with healthy stuff, but even the idea that we're purchasing healthy processed stuff doesn't make it healthy. So I love that you
no,
pointed that out for people.
no. Healthy processed food is not really food.
Mhm.
As an example, when you go out to a restaurant, they give you a lot of bread. They try to fatten you up on bread. Okay. One of the chemicals that's in a lot of commercial bread is something called azodicarbonamide. I believe that's the pronunciation of it. That is what's put into yoga mats, rubbery yoga mats. So you're eating, to
Mhm.
me, when I eat bread,
Oh
I'm
no.
eating a yoga mat. I'm like, this is not food. You have to start, in a way, we have to start forgetting about nutrients so much and just start eating food. For instance, if
Mhm.
protein walked down the street, I wouldn't even recognize it. But if a piece of steak walked down the street, I'd say, wow, that's steak. So we're,
Mhm.
in a lot of cases, focusing on things that we don't understand. And Michael Pollan, in his book In Defense of Food, said that we are in the age of nutritionism, which totally blew my mind when I read the book. One of my favorite books. We're in the age of nutritionism where there's always
Mhm.
one nutrient against the other. They're fighting. Like it might be omega 3s versus omega 6s, protein versus carbohydrates. And because we're not food scientists, we need someone else to interpret this for us. Is protein better than carbs? I study nutrition, I study food. I really don't know. I don't know what the absolute best ratio of protein, carbs, and fats would be. And those are just macronutrients. You have all the micronutrients also.
Mhm.
But I do understand what an apple is. And I understand that an
Mhm.
apple a day keeps the doctor away. I understand that you can substitute an apple for an orange or a watermelon, whatever it may be. I just want people to focus more on food than focusing on these
Mhm.
doggone nutrients that we really don't know anything about. Because the nutrients and macronutrients and minerals and vitamins, I believe we were able to synthesize those in the 40s.
Mhm.
And Dr. Joel Furman said once we were able to synthesize those and put them into a pill form where we could ingest it, cancer rates went up every year for like 60 years. So with all this invention, it's not helping cancer. And now we have all types of diseases which are on the rise. I believe mainly due to a lot of farming practices, a lot of glyphosate in the food, just breaking down the immune system. So we have to
Mhm.
get back to what we as humans, herbivores, are designed to eat, and that would be plant fare.
That would
If
be
you do that,
plants.
I'm telling you, a lot of your problems will just evaporate. It won't solve all of your problems, but enough problems to the point where you can really live a life that's vibrant. I'm sorry, am I talking too much? I know I can
I
go on
love
and on
that.
about
So, our
this.
no, you're doing great. We're actually, no, you're doing great. We're running out of time, but here's, so I really want you to give, what is your final tip for men in the area of physical wellness and health? And then what would you say to those of us raising sons around physical health and wellness? What would be your advice?
My advice is something I said earlier: consistency.
Mm.
Pick out an allotment of time that you will commit to exercise every day and do it. Now, if you have a son, it would be beautiful because you do it with your kid, and kids just have a whole lot of energy. Your job as an adult is to be able to keep up with the doggone kid because they can just go like crazy. So we have to set the example for our kids. And the example that we want to set would be a person who's in shape, who's intellectually on top of his game, physically on top of his game, full of energy, able to provide, able
Mhm.
to do what he wants to do, and always in a positive state. Food and exercise can do that for you. It's not just about the physical being, it's about everything. When you eat well, it improves every facet of your life, spiritually, mentally, physically. People always look at those three separately. I think they're all inextricably intertwined. We cannot separate them. So the power of food and the power of exercise will completely empower your life. There's no doubt about it.
I love that. All right. So, Kirk, I have to close with our joke of the day.
Uh-huh.
So you're going to humor me because this is a Laffy Taffy Andy joke. I always tell my guests it's a little silly, I promise you. But here we go. Ready? Why did the cookie go to the doctor?
Why did the cookie, because he was crumbling?
Close. It felt crummy. Great job.
Okay, I
I
almost got
love
this.
it. You
Oh, I
were
was close.
closest so
I
far.
was
Oh my
close.
guess.
All right.
All right. So, Kurt, tell
Yes.
everybody how they can reach out to you, your social media, your books. Tell everybody again how they can get in touch with you and your fitness program.
You can always reach me at kirkcharles.com, KIRKCHARLES.com. That is the best way. On Instagram, I am at Kirk Charles. And if you go to LinkedIn, you can just type in my name, Kirk Charles. Call me if you need a speaker for an event. I speak about plant-based eating, converting to plant-based eating, and the habits that you need to instill or develop in order to make your life far easier. And I talk about physical fitness. We do some fun exercises sometimes. We do a whole lot of things. So contact me and we'll make it happen. If you want personal training sessions, you can contact me also. If you just want to have a conversation or just scream at somebody, you can scream at me too. You can do whatever you want to do, but just contact me. And my bottom line is I want to get 1,000,000 men, an army of 1,000,000 men who are interested in plant-based eating. And then we'll just take off from that 1,000,000. We as black men really got to be on top of our games. And I want keep this in mind. Everything that we got, this is my opinion now, everything that we got during times of slavery was designed to keep us a slave.
Hmm.
Part of that was food.
Food.
Lack of education, you can't read, you can't do this, you're going to give you the worst food. And to this day, we still have to fight against those things. And I just help people fight with the food and the exercise. That's my job. So let's make this happen. We can do it.
I love it. Yes. All right, folks. So as we close out our show, I'm going to do my final Love the Babies Well send off. In 1 Corinthians 6:19-20, Bible says, "Do you not know that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit within you, whom you have from God? You are not your own, for you were bought with a price. So glorify God in your body." Teaching our sons how to take care of their physical health will aid them for life. And I love how Kirk just said we can do it with our sons, and that's going to improve both of us at the same time. We have to learn that words like diet or plant based, it's not a punishment, but it's more of a blessing, teaching us how to change how we feel, how we think, how we move, being able to take care of this body. We only get one chance with this body. So why not make it the best version of yourself possible? Folks, thanks so much for tuning in today to Dr. Stacy's show. Until next time, keep the faith, love the babies well, and pursue wellness.